Hi, my name is Amanda Ryan, and I'm coming to you from Southeast Georgia. I'm 33 years old, a wife of 14 years to my high school sweetheart, and we have three boys, a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And I'm with you guys today just to give you some encouragement. Being a mom and a spouse is not always the easiest job in the world, but it surely is the most rewarding. Being outside, we're going to have some flies and things come into view. We might have a cat or a dog, so just bear with me. Right now, we live in Southeast Georgia on a little farm in a TLC-worthy tiny house. But before this, my husband was in the military, and we got to live lots of places, including Duluth, Minnesota. We also lived in Florida and Texas. So I've been around lots of places, gotten to meet a lot of really awesome people, and that's helped me become who I am today. And part of that is just being able to reach outside of my comfort zone. Sometimes when you're going places, God might show you someone out of the corner of your eye, and you're not sure, why am I noticing that person, Lord? Why are you bringing that person into view? But if you just wait patiently and just obey God, eventually you'll see why he's having you pay attention to that person. For example, I moved to Georgia less than a year ago, and at our kids' sporting events, I noticed this one family and a certain mom. Everywhere I went, I noticed this mom, and I felt like the Holy Spirit was telling me, pay attention to this woman. And I thought, okay, I see her, but there was no reason for me to introduce myself, and she wasn't coming to introduce herself to me. So I thought, all right, well, I'll just wait and see what happens. Well, just a few weeks ago, I get this random Facebook message from a woman who is thinking about homeschooling, and she heard that we homeschooled our boys. I didn't know who she was, but I messaged her back and forth for a little while and then agreed to go meet with her at her home and show her some homeschool things and give her some advice. And who do you think it was but that sweet wife and mom that I kept seeing all around town? So even though you might feel like you're being a little crazy and feel like God's just showing you someone for no apparent reason and you don't understand why, there's always a reason. But had I not stepped out of my comfort zone or obeyed God's calling to just pay attention to the specific family, I might have missed the opportunity to give her some encouragement and to give her some confidence that she needed. Her kids have always been in public school, and she didn't really know, her husband didn't really know what to expect when deciding to homeschool their family. But through us, through God's children, he sends us out for a reason, and there's always something he has planned for us every day. No matter what stage of life we're in, the Bible tells us that there's a season for everything, and that is so true. Sometimes your season is raising children, and sometimes your season is being a Titus woman, where you give advice and encouragement to younger women who are raising their families. And I'm sure you'll find yourself in different seasons throughout your life. Another thing that I think is important, having three sons, you'd think that they'd all be pretty similar, but they're definitely all opposite. My youngest, who is 6, if you walk into a store and he's with you, his toe will start to tap, his hips will start to shake, and his head will start to bob, and he will dance. Whether you're embarrassed or not, he is going to start dancing right where you are because he's just full of joy. And I have never told him to stop dancing. As long as he's happy and feels free to be who he is and be that happy little boy that God created him, I'm always encouraging him to be who God has created him. And if I ever find myself discouraging him from being who he was created to be, then I should be afraid that he's going to try to be somebody that he's not. And isn't that something that we find with kids these days? I just don't think that enough of them are encouraged to be who God created them to be. And so they feel the pressure of trying to fit in with other crowds or try to do what the mainstream kids their age are trying to do. So I just wanted to give you that encouragement, to love your kids for their own individuality. Encourage them to be who God has created them, and also be an example of what that is by being who God created you to be. Let your kids see you step out and reach out and speak to other parents or other moms that you might see at the park, giving them encouragement, bragging on your kids of how great they are and telling her how great her kids are behaving at the park. You never know what kind of situation you might find somebody in. They might be a little depressed, they might be having a bad day, or they might just need to vent to someone who is not going to judge them for what they're feeling. So I would just encourage you to love people and just let your kids see you love people, and they'll learn to love people and not judge. So I hope that this helps you, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I would welcome your feedback, and I hope you're having as beautiful weather as we're having here today in South Georgia. All right, bye-bye.